Want to get on a line now? Anybody?
But I wanted to ask you guys. I did want to ask chat. All right, focus up, focus up. What do you think the goals of this content of me talking about anti-fandom and stuff? What do you think my goals are? I'd like to hear your opinions about what you think that is. Okay, so making toxic free space for fans. Sure. Yeah. Bring awareness of what they're doing, inform how it works, and more importantly, how it spreads. Yeah. Give people tools to combat misinformation. Yep. Trying to make sense of it all. I mean, I was for a while trying to, I mean, that's the first couple of years was spent trying to make sense of it all. I think I kind of got it now, to be honest. Like, but yeah, pop counterculture has it to make millions of dollars. That's it. Think, Dan, you were telling the facts on these chuds and exposing the grift for what it is in detail. Thank you. Yeah. To indoctrinate us into the gay Marxist Leninism Chuck Dixon has been warning us about. I mean, yes. That too. That too. Give people the strength to combat toxicity of fandom. Yeah. Hey, callback. There you go. That's a really good one, actually, Anthony. That is one of them. That is one of them. Yeah. I don't think that there's really many that do what we do this way that we do it, to be honest. There's a few. Then there's more and more, I guess, as time goes on, and that's really encouraging to see. Yeah, I don't want to I don't want to harp on the details of what was said privately or anything like that. But basically, he thinks that this is kind of like a lost cause, that they've already kind of won, and that like the example that we talk about was because it was the thing that kind of set off an alert in my mind on his stream was he talked about, critical drinker. And I'm like, he said something about making videos about critical drinker. I'm like, wait a second, we're making videos about critical drinker right now. So, and yeah, he said, you guys just made 3 videos about the critical drinker. And I was like, yeah, and he pointed out rightfully that it's a video that's like almost a year old. The one that we talk about mostly in that is his video from almost a year ago now or something. And he is right to say that like if there's more than one way to do this and more than one reason to do it. And he's focused on this one, which is one we've tried to do, but like, and he said that basically if you want to counter that video, you need to have a video out with the same day, basically the same within a couple of days. You need to steal his tags. You need to, all that. And that's true. That's true because it is an algorithm war. As I've told you guys before, but by the way, hit like and subscribe, because it's an algorithm war. But the fact is that what I told him, and this is true, there's always going to be chuds on social media until social media changes the way that it operates. That's just the sad truth of it. There's nothing that we can do that's going to make all the chuds go away. Even we can counter them with facts all we want to. Even if we were putting out videos every time they put out a video and so on and so forth, it wouldn't end it. Because social media is built on, this algorithm that favors sensationalism and outrage and engagement. It doesn't give a shit about facts, good ideas, good takes or anything. It's all just like, and that's why every social media platform kind of has a lot of bullshit on it. Like Blue Sky is relatively new, so it doesn't have much going on there yet, but it will eventually. It'll be, descend into bullshit. And that is just the world in which you live. So like, we're not trying to take down all of the anti-fans. We're not trying to make them go away. Like if that happens in the process of what we are trying to do, then that's cool. We'll take that too. But that can't be my goal, because it was my goal kind of when I first started doing this, that I was pretty naive about why I was doing it, right? Like I would think I just got to get on there and counter the bullshit with facts and I'll, win people over with facts or whatever. And it's like, it's naive. I didn't realize how much I didn't fully understand the the social dynamics at play, and like the sunk cost of a anti-fan being part of one of these groups for so long that, like, I didn't understand the echo chambers. I didn't understand all of these aspects that I do understand now. I didn't at first. And it made it, I had an unhealthy perspective on what I was doing and why I was doing it. And then, so, I would make videos, video every, few every week for a while. And then I would just see that the chuds were still dominant on YouTube. And after a while, it's like, then it felt pointless. Yeah. And if that is the way that you're going at it, you're going to have a bad time. And I did. And it definitely played into, like, in 2020, some of you probably remember, I went into, I had a pretty bad depression. And part of that was that I'd put this past several months, hardest work I've ever put into anything on YouTube. Putting myself out there when I've never done that before. I'd never been somebody that spoke publicly or put my ideas out and stuff like that. And I was just nonstop doing it for the better part of a year. And I hit a wall. That's exactly the term that Matt used. He hit a wall the other day. And I get it. I just had to change my relationship to it. I did a stream about this like a year ago where I talked about the reason that I do it now. And this is one of them. I get emails and messages very frequently from people like Greg. I just started looking at the individuals who benefit from it. And like, yeah, no, I'm not like changing the course of fucking fan history or anything. I'm not like turning back the tides of chuds or whatever. But like, it's not nothing that I can help one person at a time, or that I can benefit one person at a time. In fact, it's not only not nothing, it's pretty fucking huge to me. Made it no secret, talked about before that, like, I wasn't always the best person. I used to be a pretty selfish person. So, at least like selfish, or maybe more like, I guess, didn't think as much about others and my effect on the world and stuff like that. And like, I didn't really benefit many people or anything. So the fact that I can now like literally benefit the lives of strangers just by saying what I believe and being one of the few people who's willing to, speak against this stuff, that means the world to me. And I don't believe in giving up a fight just because it seems hopeless. Yeah, and that's totally valid. Like I said, this is not against Matt. I just wanted to say my piece because I know that some people recognized he was talking about us. Like I said, the reason that I wasn't going to talk about it initially because like he didn't mention us by name. But then a couple of people did recognize that he was talking about us and asked me about it. And so, because we have some crossover in our audiences. So there's some people that recognize it. I figure, okay, there's a couple of people that asked me about it. There's got to be several more that also recognized it and haven't asked me about it. I should maybe say something. And it gave me, and I, talked to the other guys in the initiative and was like, do you think it's possible I can do this without like starting some drama, because I don't want that, if Matt wants to say anything in response to this, he can do that. I'm not going to respond to that more than likely. But like, yeah, subscribe to fucking $3 Theater, man. Like, Matt's done a lot of fucking great work in this fucking area. Like, he's done more than I could do. He's done, the fact that he is someone who was there at the beginning days of Gamergate and was like kind of like in that, field of chuds. And then he grew, and then he changed his content, changed his perspective, and like now is speaking against stuff like that. That's invaluable. And the work that he has done is fucking incredible. So don't want to take anything away from that. And he has a right to fucking not do it anymore, to rest, to go, you know what? Fuck this. I just want to talk about movies. Because he's said that to me many times since I've known him. He's like, I just fucking I just want to talk about movies. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about that. They haven't won. That's what I put on the thumbnail, but no, they haven't won because the Marvels is not indicative of them. It's really not. They probably had some effect on it, but they didn't cause it to underperform the way that it did. If Chuds are responsible for the failure of the Marvels, who's responsible for the failure of Killers of the Flower Moon? You know? This is just a couple of weeks prior. So it kind of tells us something. You got Scorsese, who he's not a franchise, or it's not a franchise movie, but he is a franchise in and of himself in a way. It's not like Scorsese's unpopular now. It's not like he's been making bad movies and people are just like, oh, I'm tired of his fucking bad movies. None of the things that are kind of getting thrown around about the Marvels apply to that, despite the fact that it is a very similar budget, less yield. Like, I mean, that's the total runtime run in the box office is 100 mil. 137 mil was opening weekend for the Marvels. So I think this kind of indicates that no, we're dealing with certain conditions in the theatrical experience. We talked about this with Mark Hughes, the Forbes guy who came on Wednesday. There's just a lot of factors to consider that, some of them do have to do with Marvel, definitely. Like Marvel movies, Marvel in general they changed the way that they were doing things. They're also post in game, that means they're dealing with characters that don't have decades of brand recognition. Captain America, Thor, freaking Iron Man, like these are characters that to different degrees have been in the public consciousness for decades. Going from that to the Marvels, like what does what does that even mean? Like I've honestly haven't said this before, but I kind of don't like that name for the movie. It's kind of too cute by half. You know what I mean? And it doesn't really tell us much of anything. So, yeah, Chuds have nothing to do with it. Honestly, I mean, they have very little to do with it. Yeah, that's what I've always said is that, like, I hope somebody else comes along and does it better than me. I feel like that's kind of already happened in a way. Like, I don't know how long Pillar of Garbage has been making content, honestly, but like if he's before or after me or what. But Pillar of Garbage in my mind is kind of like the Messiah. Like he does it so fucking well that it's fucking great. But then there's DJ Eric Debunks. He's fucking great. Organized Chaos. I was just telling him the other day that his analysis and delivery and everything his, not to say he was bad before or anything, but like in the year that I've known him, he's fucking exponentially just gotten way fucking better. And then Turf Nation has the ability to frame things in a way, and in like he comes off non-confrontational in a way. It's weird. Turf Nation is able to just talk about these somewhat confrontational kinds of things and not seem like he's being as hostile as I would if I would say the same shit. I mean, why doesn't anybody team up with much larger content creators that they would love to team up with? Because those content creators don't know who I am, and actually, that's not true. Vosh did know who I was at one point. Xander Hall also, but like I would have to basically reach out to them and beg them to work with me, and I just haven't done that. But I mean, yeah, I would love it. I don't want to necessarily like team up with them, but like I'd love an opportunity to talk to Xander Hall, talk to his audience as well as Vosh, even Destiny, to just kind of like call attention to the specifics of this anti-Phantom situation, because these guys may talk about this stuff here and there sometimes, but like I don't know if they really realize, or their audience does, how directly related it is to the political, cultural, kind of zeitgeist and like what's going on there. And they're like, literally, some of these guys work for right-wing media organizations, And there's almost certainly some fucking dark money coming from, you know, Koch brothers and whoever else being funneled into this stuff. Oh yeah, so about that, the whole you know, you need to respond to this stuff when it happens. I mean, I agree with that as one tactic, but we need a diversity of tactics for this stuff. That's the thing. And if you watch those first two, oh shit, if you watch those first two parts of the drinker video, the third one I need to finish up and get uploaded. But like, we're not just talking about that video. We're using that video and showing how he does things in every video. So it's not just countering the literal things that he says about the specifics. It's like, it's that, but then it's also, here's how he does things. Here's how he is deceptive with this as an example. You know what I mean? So like, I don't think that that's even an accurate read of those videos to say that they are useless or anything like that, because now we've already gotten feedback from people that are like, whoa, okay, now I see how Critical Drinker does things.